Hi, Ryan from Oakland Ghosts, and today I wanted to show you one of the absolute best reasons to love the Synthstrom Deluge. Now, if you've watched my channel before, then you already know that I love the Deluge. It's kind of the centerpiece and brains of my entire DAWless setup, and in fact kind of kicked me off on the whole DAWless journey that I've been documenting here on this channel. But the Deluge is perfectly capable on its own of being a standalone production suite. You've got multiple synth engines, you've got kit tracks, sampler, arranger, looper, sequencer. I mean, everything you need to create full tracks right inside the box, and it's battery powered, which means it's the most awesome travel companion ever. Whether you're just sitting on the couch or commuting to work on the train or flying off vacation and you're bored on the plane or bored in between Mai Tais, it's the ultimate musical sketch pad. And that's exactly how I used it recently on my trip to Hawaii. I brought it along, I sketched up a couple tracks with the intention of bringing them back to my studio here and plugging it back into my bigger DAWless setup and kind of expanding on those ideas with my full setup. So I thought that's kind of what we could do today. We can kind of take a listen to some of the tracks that I sketched out, and then we'll plug this bad boy in and I'll show you how the Deluge and its unique feature set allows me to kind of instantly switch things over to my analog synths or just expand upon those ideas. Let's get into it. All right, so this is one of the tracks that I kind of whipped up on the airplane. I kept these particularly sparse because I knew that I would be coming back to my bigger setup here and either swapping out synths or at least layering stuff with some of my hardware. So they're purposely, a little sparse and gives us a little room to work. But let's just take a quick listen at what I've got so far and start thinking about how we want to do this, whether it's replacing some of these synths with some of my hardware or just adding additional stuff. Let's take a listen. I'm actually really happy with a lot of this, if I gotta be honest. That's what we got so far. Most of the time when people use this strategy of using the Deluge as kind of a sketch pad, their biggest complaint is they just don't think the Deluge sounds that good. I'm actually not one of those people. I think the Deluge sounds fantastic, and I could have written an entire track completely here, standalone. In fact, I have. If you check out, I have a playlist called Song Sketches, and if you look at like the first year or so of tracks that I have in that playlist, they're all entirely on the Deluge. I think the Deluge sounds great, but I do have all these crazy synths of my own here to work with. Here, let me show you. So, I'm working with a pretty big setup, as you can see. I've got all my Moogs, I've got a polysynth, I've got tons of mono synths, I've got lots of cool stuff. Now, I think probably the first thing that I would do here, like I said, I actually really like a lot of the sounds that I got here, so I don't know if swapping the sounds out is quite the idea. I do feel like, for example, the bass, that sounds pretty good. I could probably get a little more bottom. So maybe I'll layer in the mono Lancet here. The one thing that, it's suffering from is I have two versions of this bass track. One that's like the normal one and then one that's distorted. That sounds like this. When it drops in, let's go. And I really like that distorted one. That sounds freaking killer to me. And I think one of the problems I'm gonna have is I can't really get that out of the mono Lancet on its own without maybe adding a guitar pedal or maybe a VST in my DAW or something like that to get that kind of distortion. So that's one reason I don't want to lose this bass sound that I have, but maybe what I can do is just layer one in. And so what I do here is I'm going to duplicate this track down here. Let's give it a different color just so it's something totally different. And then I have my bass line in here. We can even solo this bad boy. Boom. So it's my bass line, right? All I gotta do if I wanna change this to one of my hardware synths, in this case, I think we're gonna use the Vermona Mono Lancet 15, which is just, I don't even think I've done a review on this one yet, but I use it almost exclusively for bass these days, although it sounds great all over the place. It's basically like, if you know the Vermona Performer, this is like one of those. Performer has 4 of these to build it up. But anyway, let's, yeah, so I'm just gonna hit MIDI. I'm gonna switch it to 6, because I believe that's, or maybe it's 5. Which one is it? This one? Boom. All right, so now we're kind of zoomed in on my Vermona there. It'll be a little easier. We can kind of sound design with it. So let's just kind of, first thing I know is I want the sustain up. I also know I want some glide. So it glides in between the notes. Maybe a lot of glide. Give it a lot. See what it sounds like. Yeah, that's pretty good. See what the tempo is. Maybe that's it's almost side chaining it when I use the LFO like this. That sounds pretty beefy. Let's try some square waves. No, I think we want sawtooth. Okay, I'm gonna add this to the existing one. And let's hear it without. So I'm getting the sub from the existing one that I have on the Deluge, and then we're gonna add this guy in there. And this basically makes it like a 3 oscillator synth. Getting the mix between the 2 oscillators, because there's 2 oscillators on this one, so I'm just making VCO2 a little bit less. And I might actually pitch this one out of tune a little bit. Just to make it a little nastier. I think that's pretty good, man. See what it sounds like when we drop the distorted one on. Sounds nasty, I love it. Sweet. Yeah. All right. So I think the next thing I'm gonna wanna do is I definitely want to beef up the beat just a little bit. All right, so the first thing we gotta do with the DFAM is I need to patch it to the Deluge. And to do that, all I do is I actually use gate 4, which is clock. And I just send that to the advanced clock here. And that should get us going if I set this to run. First we wanna move this guy over. See if that does it. And now we're in time. So let's turn up oscillator 1. All right, so let's pitch it. And I'm just trying to get the pitch kind of close, because I'm gonna. So here's without. Make it a little nastier by adding a second oscillator. Get some snare too. Let's see. I'm gonna do pitch to noise. See what we get. Not quite what I want. I like how it's a little dirty there. Actually going to turn this off. I do want to try to see if I can get a good snare on here too, so it's going to have to be like this. Sound like when we drop the beat. Like that better. And then we might just use this as a kick basically. Yep, there we go. Sick. I don't know what this latch patch was on the Mother 32, but I think we're gonna get into the Mother 2. Sweet. And now let's drop our Vermona bass. See what that sounds like. And the distorted bass. See what that sounds like together. trying to decide if I wanted an octave down or not on the Pomona. Well, I think the next thing that I want to do All right, cool. The next thing I'm going to want to figure out is what the heck to do with these. I feel like these two have the potential to be changed. I'm going to turn off that guy for a minute. So I actually quite like, similar to the before, I actually quite like that sound. So I don't really have a problem per se with it, but I do suspect I can probably either layer something on top of it or just make it sound better. Maybe I could use the JT Mini. I mean, honestly, this sounds like something the NYX would kind of handle really well. So maybe I'll jump over to the NYX. So similar to what we did before, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this because I don't know that I want to lose it entirely. And I'll mute it for now. And I'm just going to switch the MIDI track. And I believe all right, that's the NYX. So let's focus on the NYX for a minute and see if we can come up with a cool sound. All right, so whatever's on the NYX right now is just whatever the last patch I had was. So the first thing, what I really like about that Deluge one is it's super chirpy. So let's turn off the effects first of all. It's also not in tune. Got some vibrato. Really short attack on it. All right, let's hear it with the other one. I'm going to run a couple things just so I could hear what we got. See, now again, I'm not totally convinced that this is any better than what the sound I already had on the Deluge. Let's hear them together. I mean, it sounds kind of nice layered in. Yeah, I think when I add some effects, I can make that sound pretty tight. Yeah, man, like I said, the one I got from the Deluge I actually kind of like. But I do like them both. I think we can use them both. Yeah, there's a lot of pulse width on that. Sick. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I think the last thing that I want to do is I'm probably going to want to replace this, maybe with the Mother 32. In fact, let's just do that real quick and see what it sounds like. I think that's MIDI 1. I mean, whatever patch I had on there already sounds pretty good. We definitely are going to want a second oscillator. So what we might want to do is at least grab, what are we on, pulse right now? So we'll grab the saw, stick this over here so we can blend it in. And I'm going to send the noise over to mix 2. I just want some of that grittiness. So that's going to the Mother 32, which I didn't even film, sorry. But I really haven't changed that much over there, over to the patch that I already had in there. Now I'm just kind of messing with the Mother 32. I'm trying to get that arpeggio just right. Alright, what do they sound like together? I mean, they actually sound pretty good layered together, I think. So it kind of just adds, to me anyway, it adds a little modulation because the one on the Deluge is moving a little more. I think I would definitely want to add an LFO or something to the to this guy so it's moving a little bit too. Here's without the Deluge one. That sounds pretty killer. But let's see if we can steal an LFO here. I can probably steal an LFO here from this guy, from the NYX. So let's see, out, mod 2. We're gonna steal that, and we're gonna go to the cutoff. So now it's got a little movement on the cutoff. Yeah, I like that. So I'm trying to stay kind of true to the sounds that I came up with the Deluge because I like those sounds. All right, I think that's probably going to do it for tonight. If you found this helpful, if you found this interesting, I'm just going to do a little jam on the way out. But if this was interesting content, consider subscribing. It's a great help to the channel. We appreciate you to no end. And we post lots and lots of synth content. So yeah, let's do a little jam. And once again, Ryan from Oakland Ghost, and I will see you next time. Here we go.